I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 209, She Rises, an interview with Molly Claire. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Before we jump into today's episode, I wanted to make sure that you know of something really important coming up. On October 7th, I am leading my next virtual retreat. It is an all-day event with all of the women inside my program, Get Your Life Back After Infidelity. And you can purchase a ticket to that class separately through the link in the show notes. It is going to be an incredible, incredible day. We are going to be deep diving into many of the emotions that so many of you feel stuck in. We're going to be talking about shame, regret, resentment, versions of ourselves that we cringe when we think about. We're going to be diving into all of that and really dissecting it, breaking things apart, and learning how to offer ourselves some love for every version of us that has been, so that we can ultimately step into making our experience with ourselves feel like home, coming home to ourselves by loving the versions of us that we have been. It's going to be beautiful and powerful. I've got guests coming in. I'm going to be doing a lot of the teaching and training. We're going to be there with each other to talk through things, to ask questions. It's going to be amazing. So go ahead and grab your ticket for that in the show notes. Also, before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to just share with you that this person that you're going to listen to today is one of the most powerful women that I personally know. She's just a powerhouse of a woman. And the things that she's going to share today will get you thinking about your own courage, your own resilience, your own stories, and what you ultimately want to tell about the current stories that you're in, the current pain that you're in. All right, so without further ado, I'm welcoming Molly Claire to this episode, and I hope you enjoy. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I have a very, very special guest that is a very dear person to me and very, very masterful in the things that she brings into the world. I want to introduce her first as how I got to know her. Hello, Molly. If you could say hello first before I introduce her.
Hello.
Hi.
So happy to be here with you.
I'm so happy to have you. Yes, so happy to have you. Molly, I've shared here in the podcast, you've heard my journey of how I became a coach. I switched from thinking I was going to be a therapist to coaching, and I jumped all in. And Molly was one of my very, very first mentors. And I remember just looking up to her so much. And then I went from that first experience with her and trained with her quite a bit more. And for quite a while, trained with her. And she is just masterful in what she brings into the world. And now I'm so grateful to call Molly not just a colleague, but a good friend. And I brought Molly on today to share with you some things that we thought would be valuable to you around transformation and hearing other people's stories of resilience. Molly, can you tell a little bit about yourself and just share with my audience who you are? You could share as much as you want about your own transformation of getting to where you're doing what you are doing. Go ahead and share whatever you want with the listeners.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me here, Andrea. And I know those of you listening are here because you look to Andrea and you look to this podcast for guidance and support and really help in navigating some of the biggest, hardest things that you are facing, those of you listening. And I know I can speak for both of us when I say, what an honor it is to be here supporting all of you. Because life is a bigger mess sometimes than we ever imagined.
Sure
right?
is. Yes.
It is.
Absolutely.
So I will just give the Cliff's Notes version of me. It's like always hard to do that, right? Because how do you condense like such a deep journey of big challenges in, a short amount of time? But
Yeah.
I became a coach. I fell in love with coaching and the possibility of it. This has been over a decade now. It was about 11 years ago that I began that. Over the last decade in working with individual clients, specifically with moms and with women, along the way of building my own business, I simultaneously was training and certifying and teaching coaches and also building curriculum outside of my own business, right? As a contractor. And over this time, as I have expanded my own depth and knowledge of understanding in learning and in very practical, very hard experiences in my life, including, divorce, being a single mom, coming out of a really detrimental relationship to me, and just, so many things. At this point in my journey, what I really specialize in is not just training coaches, not just teaching them a coaching model, but helping my coaches to really master themselves, master their alignment in their life, and understand how to navigate the very most challenging things. And as I'm training these coaches, of course, to do that for themselves, they are then able to be powerful coaches and mentors to their clients. And so I'm here as a coach and mentor to those ambitious souls who are ready to really feel fulfilled and satisfied in their life and understand how to skillfully navigate whatever life throws at us. So
Mhm.
hopefully that's
Yep.
a good synopsis of that. And then, of course, there's the book that we'll talk about. But essentially, I train and mentor coaches and have a master coach program that is very in depth. And it is just really, we're just doing really amazing things in there to bring the world more light and goodness and hope and peace.
Amazing, amazing. I have to share a funny story that Molly and I now laugh about sometimes. But when I first started working with Molly, I was living in a house with 8 children at home, and Molly was one of my coaches. And I remember getting on calls with her, and I called it my corner office. It was literally a corner in the living room because there were so many people in our house that there was nowhere for me to have an office. And I
Mhm.
remember one of the reasons why your work was so impactful for me is because even though I was learning coaching skills from you, you started with the individual, with us, in helping us to really carve out what we want. I learned so much about honoring desire, which is now a huge piece of the work that I do with my people, is honoring desire, discovering what that even is, because so many of us don't remember. We've
We
never
have
really
no
thought about
idea.
it. No clue. No clue. Like I don't know how long it's been since, you know, like that's how I hear that a lot. Like I have no idea who I am, what I want. Like, and I remember sitting in that little corner office, my corner where my laptop was on top of a bar stool.
Yes, I
Just
remember.
have to laugh, right? And feeling hope and feeling like, "Oh, I can actually build my life intentionally and not just kind of take what's given," right?
That's
And,
right.
oh, what a gift. What a gift.
And I think that especially, and I know much of your audience is women, but I know women and men alike relate to this. But I will say, I think especially as women, we are very conditioned to think of and take care of everyone else. We are taught that's how you are a good woman and how you're a good person.
Yeah.
And while 100%, obviously, we're in the helping field, right? And both of us are mothers, and we give so much to the people around us. And there's obviously, that is an important part of life and fulfillment. And the only problem is when we kind of erase ourselves in the big scheme of all of it, right? And so I love that you highlighted that and that you felt that, Andrea, because truly, when one of my clients comes to me to learn how to improve their ability to coach, they are absolutely the first client, right?
Yeah.
Because how can we really help our clients? Like Andrea would not be able to help all of you listening to
Mhm.
be able to understand yourself, understand what you want, connect with your desire, expand your vision for what you want if she hasn't done that for herself.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like every coach that I'm working with, it is a let's have you go first experience. And honestly, my coaches, they love the skills that they learn and they can say, oh my gosh, I'm such a better coach. And their favorite part is the remembering of self, the reconnecting of self. And I think that's some of the most important work that we do.
Yeah.
Because when I'm fully connected with myself, it means I can be present here with you, Andrea, right? And it means I can be present for all of you listening because I'm okay. I'm not wrestling with big insecurities or gaps internally. I'm okay. I'm solid. And now I can show up and help others. And we've got to really establish the importance of that for each of us as individuals.
Yep, absolutely. And if I can go way back, I remember when I was first going through certification, I remember hearing about you grappling with when you were first stepping into this space of stepping into it and knowing like facing the music of I might need to leave my marriage and fear and what am I going to do? And I remember learning from you and the shifts in you of, "Oh, I can do this and this and this," like permission granted to make whatever money that you wanted to and to have
That's
the
right.
career, and you didn't know you could. You didn't know you could.
Yeah, and I'm guessing there are at least a fair amount of your listeners that fear your own ability to take care of yourself. And I think especially when you're making a difficult decision as to what to do with a relationship, is this relationship for me? Is it not? That's a big enough decision, right? That's a big enough step for us to take. And and so the last thing we need is to exacerbate that by muddying the waters of wondering if we can even do it. So
Yeah,
anyway, what I'll
yeah,
say about that is yes, when I stepped into being a single mom, I was terrified. I had been for sure in my culture conditioned my entire life that I was not really meant to be a provider, a financial provider,
yeah,
a breadwinner. And I've had to overcome a lot of blocks around that internally. And it's totally possible. It's totally possible. So,
yep. I love it. Yep, so much of my own big vision for myself, for my business, for my life, I can genuinely say I learned by watching you, Molly. Like really truly, I learned so much from watching you. I feel like I was a young, brand new coach figuring out, oh, like I know I'm meant to be here and I felt so shaky. And just to have a mentor that really embodied the things that I could have a taste of, like, Andrew, you could do this too, right? So you've paved the way for so many people, including myself. And which is I wanna segue into part of the reason I wanted to have Molly on is because I happen to know a project that she's been up to that I think would be so beneficial for all of you here. We learned so much from other people. We learn so much from other people. And especially when we can be inspired by somebody else and see parts of ourselves in other people's stories and go, what's possible for me? So, with that, Molly, could you share what you've been up to in regards to the book that you have coming out?
yes. Oh my gosh, Andrea, as you know, because you've been behind the scenes hearing about it, I just can't even begin to express how excited I am and just how powerful this book really is. So, I decided to co-author a book with 12 of my master coaches. So, these are 12 women who are not just highly skilled coaches, but truly masterful in the way that they work with their clients to navigate the hardest things in life. And the book is called She Rises:
Mm,
Insights and Wisdom from the Women of the Masterful Coach Collective. And the thing that's so unique about this book is that you are going to have a chapter, a touch point on just about all of the biggest, hardest things that we experience. And here is this collection of women who are not just teaching or talking about
yeah.
transformations, but they're sharing their personal stories of having faced it. And I can tell you more about the topics, but this book is, to me, this is an absolute must have, must read for anyone who is living life.
Right.
And
Right.
of course, I will say it's definitely geared more toward women. All of these coaches are women. And we also have the last chapter in it is one of my coaches, Patty Kohler. And the chapter is Why I Like to Make Grown Men Cry. And and Patty specializes in helping men with their emotions,
Oh, that's amazing.
difficult emotions. So just because this is geared toward women, but believe me, men are not exempt from it. So yeah.
Oh, that the name of that alone, I gotta read that, right?
I know, right?
I
I
love
know.
it. That's awesome. Awesome. So what inspired you to do this?
Yeah. Well, so, and I know you know this backstory, Andrea, because you were privy to these conversations, right? But I was approached to be a part of an anthology and co-author a book that was led up by Tony Robbins and
Mhm.
all these, other coaches. And I was pretty excited about the idea initially. And as I started looking into it and I started looking at the direction of the book, I just could feel that it wasn't totally aligned for the message that I have.
Mm.
Not because it was wrong or anything against what the message was, but it wasn't in alignment for me. But I was excited about this idea because I love collaboration. And as you know, Andrea, I love connecting with powerful people who bring light and brilliance and who just who want to contribute to something greater. I love that. So I love this idea. And I was walking in my neighborhood thinking about this, and I was actually Marco Poloing my mastermind, Andrea's a part of.
Yeah.
And I said, you know who I'd really like to co author a book with? My master coaches. These women are powerful. These women are brilliant. These women are wise, and these women lead with heart. And I would be over the moon excited to collaborate with them. And in that moment, right, of feeling that, it was almost like it just hit me like not even a bolt of lightning, more of like a bright sunshine, just like the ultimate
Mm.
inspiration, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was pretty crazy because I reached out to my book guy. I said, Everett, this is what I want to do. What do you think about this? And he said, we've done stuff like this before. We can definitely do it. You have to understand, sometimes it takes a while to get people on board. And I said, you don't know the power of these women.
Yeah.
And literally from that conversation to the time that the 13 of us dove into writing was less than 3 weeks.
Wow. Wow.
Everyone got on board, got their stuff together, and we just moved it forward. And that was really how it was born. And I remember that day as I was walking and I felt that I could see the faces of these women and I could feel the power of their message.
Wow.
Like Margot, who has lost 2 children and coaches on grief and brings unbelievable, experience. And like Carla, who helps people navigate emotions in such a delicate way. And Michelle, who's a doodling coach who works with nervous system regulation. And Maria, who works with moms and talks about this joyful reinvention. It's like I could see their faces and I
Wow.
could just feel the power and I knew it was going to happen.
Wow. So I have to ask you a question about that. One of the things that I think is one of the biggest harms done to us in our lives, and especially in this space, in the infidelity space that I work in, we often give our authority out to other people besides ourselves, or don't trust our own authority. And so
Totally.
just hearing what you just shared about how, to the outside world, they'd be, "Oh, it's Tony Robbins. You should go, yeah,
Right? Why not? Are
your
you
wagon
crazy?
to, yeah, right, hit your wagon to Tony Robbins." And I want to ask you, in your own experience, what has been your own process of getting to where you know when something's not right for you and you can trust it yourself without the evidence? It's not done yet. Like, you came from, it was created in your mind with zero, you had, before you had spoken to anybody about it, before, I mean, to the people that are now in the book, right?
Yeah.
How did you get there? How did
Yeah.
and what would you say to people listening about that? Because there's so many that feel like that inner authority, that inner trust has been so hijacked.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pain around that.
Oh my gosh. This is one of the biggest things. And I'm going to answer that question. And first, what I will say is one of the powerful things about this book and about each of the authors in that book is that we together have cultivated that sense of self-trust in them, and they are then helping their clients, because
Yeah.
that's one of the key things. When I'm working with my coaches and training them, connecting with themselves and instilling self-trust is one of the number one focuses of our work together. So if people are searching for that, this book is a good place to go for that. But to answer your question, my journey has been one that is similar to others who have had to reconnect with trusting themselves. And it's interesting because I'll dip just a little bit into this. Something that I've come to learn and understand about myself and many of us walking the earth is that we are typically taught at an early age to minimize or dismiss our own feelings, that our feelings don't really matter, and that we can't really trust our feeling. And this makes sense, right? Because sometimes our emotions can can seem out of proportion for the facts of what's happening,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And a myriad of other things. Not to mention that most parents, especially like I look back at, the generation when we were raised, have no idea how to support kids in their emotions. They don't understand how,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, for me, just going back a little ways, as a child, I was by myself very often. I had an overworked, stressed out, burned out single mom who was working constantly. I was by myself to take care of myself. And what I've learned, and this happens for different people for different reasons, is whenever I had an emotion, let's say I felt the weight of something, I felt worried about something. And when we feel this as kids, we need someone to be there to help us with that. The emotion comes out, the stress comes out. And in an ideal situation, we have an adult who's able to self regulate and is able to be there and nurture and attend emotionally.
Yeah.
Most people have not learned that skill, right?
Yeah.
And so for me in that situation with no one there, the emotion is there, and then internally, psychologically, what I would do, which is very normal for any child in this situation, is basically try to shut those feelings down because I don't know how to handle them by telling myself they shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And so, I don't want to get too into this because I know this gets, pretty deep, and maybe people are like, I'm not sure what this means exactly. But, the bottom line is what that created in me and for me is a perpetual pattern of me believing that what I wanted didn't matter, my feelings didn't matter, what I needed didn't matter.
Yeah.
And therefore, we just shut down everything inside of us and really just look to external
Yeah.
solutions to find
Mhm.
the answers.
Yep.
Right? And inherently, it means that we really chip away at our own self-trust. Like, I can't trust myself. I
Yeah.
can't trust what I feel because it's wrong.
Yep. Yep.
And so, moving forward, for me, and this could be a whole other podcast episode, so you might need to keep me on track here, Andrea, right? Andrea knows where this is going. But one of the most pivotal things for me personally was that I was in a relationship that was actually extremely, extremely emotionally detrimental. I would say emotionally abusive in covert ways that I did not even realize. I
Yeah.
did not realize it. And it was the intensity of a situation that was so confusing to me, where I knew things were happening that were not okay, but everything that I was being told about it from my partner caused me to believe that I was terribly wrong about everything I was feeling deep down
Mm.
inside.
Yeah.
And the gaslighting, right?
Hmm.
And I
Yep.
know many of your clients,
Yep.
I'm sure have experienced that
The,
as
the
well.
problem is you. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I really had to hit rock bottom in that experience to really say, really, I was at the point where I felt like I had no foundation of who I was or self trust. And it was like, if I'm going to get out of whatever is happening, if I'm going to make sure that I'm stable and my life is stable and things are stable for my kids, I've got to find some sense of center in me. and I've got to really, I've just got to do it. So,
Mhm.
all that being said, Andrea, for me, it's been a matter of instead of immediately dismissing my feelings, my thoughts, believing they should be different, it became a matter of what if I pay attention to what I'm feeling? What if I look at, is there some value here? There some merit here to
Mhm.
what I'm feeling? What is my gut telling me? What are the messages that these emotions have for me? And the more I started making space for it, and with guidance and help from my own coach, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the thing is we need help with this stuff.
Yep.
That is when truly I went on a journey of going all in on saying, what I want matters, what I think matters, what I feel matters. And maybe I can listen a little bit more often and trust myself to be able to have discernment.
Yep. Yep. And I would say you didn't use these words, but I would say there was a moment of choosing that you chose, that you
Yeah,
said, and I'm not saying leaving the relationship. I'm saying where you chose to start listening to Molly, to start
that's right.
listening to yourself. And as all of you listening know, when we start making these shifts, when we start going, okay, this is not okay. This is not sustainable. And sometimes we don't know what to do, right? We often don't. We often don't know what to do. But what I have seen in you, Molly, is making that choice again and again and again and again to continue to lean in, lean in, lean in, leaning into who you are and yourself, what you have to say. And I think that all of that practice over the years, right? You've practiced it so many times to where when you're on that walk, you had that moment where you didn't even need to question it, you just knew.
That's right. Because this is going full circle right to the book and on being on that walk and saying, this is what I need to do. Because to your point, Andrea, it's a practice and that doesn't come overnight, right?
Oh, no.
It comes with these small moments, just like you do with your clients, right? These small moments of attuning to what you feel, what you know, what truth exists there. And so for me in that moment, I could feel it in my body, I could feel it in my heart, in my soul, and I've learned myself well enough
Yeah.
know when something is indicating, yes, this is for
Mhm.
me. Yes, is in alignment. Yes, this is good.
Yep. And you can just, like, literally run with it, like, get back off your walk and off we go.
That's
Right? That's
here
what
we
you did.
are.
That's what you did. Okay, so tell me, can you tell everybody as you are putting this out, it's very soon, this book is coming out very soon, and we're gonna put in the show notes everything for you to go grab it at a I'll let you tell a little bit more about that, but
Sure. Yeah.
if you can think of an overall message that you as the person who created this thing, who had the vision, who extended the invites, if there's an overall message that you would say to my listeners today, what
Mm-hmm.
would that be?
Mm-hmm. You know, I would say this. I know that life can just be really hard.
Yeah.
And I know that many of your struggles, most people don't really know what's going on. People don't understand. And I just want to tell you first that your challenges, what's hard for you, what's hurtful for you, well, it's not invisible to us, right?
Yeah.
We are here, even though I may not know you personally. I want you to all know that what you're experiencing matters. And I do recognize how very difficult it is.
Mm.
And what I would say is that you are worth going all in on yourself. You taking the small steps that you need to take to give yourself greater inner stability, greater peace, and greater joy. You doing that is worth it. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen as you commit to and say, my well being, my life, and my happiness is worth putting some attention on. And really, this book is about I am going to believe that I can overcome anything that comes my way. I am going to know that I can navigate emotions no matter what. And I'm not going to minimize myself or dismiss myself or tell myself I'm wrong in this. Instead, I am going to really harness all the resources around me and make my life better. That's really
Mhm.
what it's about.
Yep. And it is a choice, right? We get to
Yes,
choose. And
that's
again,
right.
we it's not a one-time choice. It's a re-choosing again and again,
That's right.
because we're working with decades, right? Decades of dealing with things in the way that we've dealt with things, or judging ourselves the way that we judge ourselves, and learning a different way. Of course, we a lot of patience and compassion there, but choosing that I matter. My experience in this one life matters. How I feel
Right.
inside myself, how I feel within my own body, in my own mind, matters. And it really is, like you just said, Molly, it's small steps, small little choices that we make again and again, but that we understand it's coming from a place of, even if we can't believe it yet, even if we're not there yet, we're choosing to believe that we are worth it, and that as you're going to read with all of these stories of all of these women, that some pretty amazing things that you just can't see right now are on the other side. You just can't see them yet.
Mhm. Mhm. That's right. That's right. And the other thing that I just really want to highlight for all of you listening is that building up this self-trust and this internal strength, it is an inside job. We cannot expect someone else to do it for us. It is that internal attending to, and we 100% are wired for connection, and we need support, and we can rely on other people for co-regulation, and we should. And so I think
Beautiful.
sometimes we can just rely on other people and not really understand that it's an internal job, quote unquote, right?
Mhm.
And I think the flip side of that is that we can believe it's all on me. I
Yeah.
shouldn't need help. I shouldn't need validation. And that is just, it's just not true. It's
Yeah.
not true.
Yep.
We need to show up for ourselves and we need others. So find the other people that in your world that light you up, that pour into you. You
Yeah.
deserve it and you
Mhm.
need it.
Yep. Perfect, and it brings so much joy, right? To find those people, to find those people. All right. Well, thank you so much, Molly. Thank you for being here. Can you tell everybody how they can find this book? Tell them what to do next.
Yes, yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so, at the time we're recording this, we're awaiting the launch date, but I know when you're hearing it, the launch date is just, like, right upon us. So, the link will be in the show notes where you can sign up to be the first to buy the book, and when the book comes out, it will be the Kindle version will be $1.99, which is a screaming deal, and not only is it a great deal and can you get it in your hands right away, but actually, by being a part of this launch for us, it is going to help me and all of these authors to be able to get more visibility and have this book get out into more hands. So it's a huge benefit to you to get the book right away at that price. And we would be so appreciative as well to buy the book on launch day. It would be.
A win-win for everyone involved, right?
Yes, that's right. And the other thing, this book, many of the authors have some free offers in there. So, like, for
Mm.
example, my chapter has a workbook that you can get for free associated with it to help people to make really big shifts and personalize the work. And I know we've mentioned some of the chapters. We have a chapter on burnout with Midori, who's a phenomenal coach. We have a chapter on midlife. It's like mirror, mirror on the wall. What the heck happened? That's
Totally.
Jackie's chapter.
Oh,
So
I love it.
there's so many more, but yeah, sign up, get on that link, plan to buy the book, share it with other people that you know. This book is a powerful force.
Wonderful. I can't wait to have my hands on it. I can't wait. I know that I will binge read that book. I can't wait. It'll be amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much, Molly, for being here. I know everybody listening can glean some wisdom and hopefully some comfort in what you have shared today of just your own journey. And thank you for bringing some of your own story. I know we all learn so much from each other, don't we? It's
Yeah.
amazing.
We
Yeah,
sure do.
we
And
do.
I was thinking of that at the beginning when, you were saying what a mentor that I was to you and how much you learned from me and what an honor it is to hear that and how fun is it that I now look to you for guidance as well. And that's really what it's all about, right?
Yeah,
We're all
yeah.
in this together and we can all just glean so much from one another.
Yep, we can. We can. And so much of that comes from sharing our stories. And that's what this book is. It's around all of these amazing women who share personal things and how they've navigated them to bring that to all of you. So I can't wait to read it. Thank you so much, Molly. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
being here. All right,
Thank
take
you
care.
so much.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.